Hello, my dears, welcome back to Silent Revenge, and welcome to another secret from Granny's secret diary. Come closer, my loves. Today's story is one that shook the walls of my home, and my heart alike. It all began with a simple question, a question every mother dreams of asking one day. I looked into my son's eyes and asked softly, "Beta, when is the engagement party?" And he looked right at me and said, "Why, eloped last week." My hands froze mid-air. My heart skipped a beat, and for a moment the world just stopped. Have you ever felt a silence so loud, my loves? The kind that screams 1,000 questions, yet not one answer. Stay with me, sweethearts, because what happened after that moment changed everything. And trust me, by the end, you'll see why this story is written right here in my diary. You see, my son Ayan was always the quiet one. Ever since he was a child, he'd listen more than he spoke. The kind of boy who'd hold your hand in the crowd so you wouldn't get lost. But in the crowd of life, he lost himself. I raised him alone after his father passed away when Ayan was only 12. He became my world, my heartbeat. Every cup of tea I made, every prayer I whispered, it was for him. He grew up to be such a gentle young man, the kind every mother dreams of. Respectful, calm, and kind. But kindness, my loves, can sometimes become a curse in a world full of selfish people. It all started when he met her, Mina. She was beautiful, yes, in that flawless, careful way that makes you wonder if it's real. I still remember the first day he brought her home. "Amy," he said, "this is Mina. We met at work." She smiled, her lips painted red, her eyes full of charm, and I remember thinking something in those eyes felt cold. You know, my dears, how a mother's heart senses things words cannot. I felt it then. A quiet warning whispering inside me, but I pushed it away. Because when your child smiles, you forget your fears. You just want them to be happy. Weeks passed, and Mina became a regular guest. She'd sit with me, pretend to help in the kitchen, call me Amiji so sweetly that I almost believed she meant it. But behind those smiles were sharp glances, measuring everything. My house, my jewelry, my words. Ayan seemed happy though, so I stayed silent. But slowly, things began to change. Ayan started avoiding our family dinners. He'd cancel weekend visits. When I'd call, Mina would answer instead, saying, "Oh, Ami G, he's resting, he had a long day." And I'd tell myself, maybe that's just love. Maybe she takes care of him like I once did. But love, my dears, doesn't pull you away from your family. It brings you closer. One evening, I decided to invite them both for dinner. I spent the whole day cooking his favorite dishes. Biryani, korma, even care for dessert. The table looked beautiful. But hours passed and no one came. Finally, my phone buzzed. Ayan's message, "Sorry, Amy, something came up. We'll come next week." I sat there, staring at the food, the steam fading, the house quiet except for the ticking clock. That night, I cried not because he didn't come, but because I felt I was losing him, inch by inch, to someone who didn't know the meaning of love. Then came the day that changed everything. One of our relatives called, asking about Ayan's engagement. I laughed lightly and said, "Oh, we haven't decided the date yet." The woman on the other side said, "Oh really?" Because Mina's cousin posted pictures. She's wearing a red dress and garlands. Looked like a wedding to me. My hands trembled. I thought maybe she was mistaken. Maybe it was an old photo. But something in my gut twisted. So the next day, when Ayan finally came over, I sat him down. The house was silent. The only sound was the wind brushing against the curtains. I smiled, as calmly as I could, and asked, "Beta, when is the engagement party?" He looked at me, eyes tired, voice small, and said, "Me, we eloped last week." For a moment, I didn't understand. My mind refused to believe what my ears had heard. My boy, who never hid even his school report cards from me, had hidden his own marriage. My tongue went dry. I asked him why. Why, after all the years I raised him alone, he couldn't even give me a day to bless him. His answer broke me more than the truth. Mina didn't want to wait, Amy. She said if we told you, you'd stop us. My dears, have you ever felt betrayed by the very heart you gave life to? That day, I realized I'd lost my son not to love, but to manipulation. Now, you might be thinking you know how this story ends. But trust me, my loves, the most unbelievable part of this story is yet to come. What happened next is the very reason this story sits in my diary. Weeks went by without a word from Ayan. I'd wake up every morning hoping for a message, a call, something. But silence has a way of becoming heavier with each passing day. Then, one night, there was a knock on the door. It was raining hard. When I opened it, there stood Ayan. Soaked, broken, his eyes swollen with tears. Behind him, the streetlight flickered like it was crying with him. I didn't ask anything. I just pulled him inside and held him, like I used to when he was a little boy afraid of thunder. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he whispered, "Amy, she left." My heart clenched. He told me everything. After marriage, Mina had changed completely. She demanded money, gifts, trips, things he couldn't afford. When he refused, she mocked him, called him weak, said she should have married someone richer. She made him cut off his old friends, even his cousins. And when his savings ran out, she left, taking most of his belongings with her. She even blocked his number. My boy was left with nothing but guilt and pain. But you know what, my dears? Sometimes, heartbreak is the teacher life sends when love blinds you. I didn't scold him. I didn't curse her. I simply told him, "Betta, when you bury the truth, it always finds a way to come back and face you. This pain you feel now, it's not punishment, it's awakening." In the weeks that followed, I watched my son rebuild himself. Slowly, silently, he got a new job, started fresh, and for the first time in months, I saw a spark in his eyes again. One day, he told me Mina had come back, begging for forgiveness. She said she made a mistake, that she wanted to start over. But this time, Ayan only smiled and said, "No, Mina. You taught me what love isn't. And that's a lesson I'll never forget." That was the moment, my loves, when my boy truly returned to me, not the child I raised, but the man life had shaped through pain. So now, when I look back and read that diary page, the one where I wrote, I asked about the engagement party and my son said, "We eloped last week." I no longer feel anger. I feel gratitude. Because sometimes, the worst choices lead us to the right realizations. It just goes to show you, my sweethearts, that a person's true character is always revealed in the end. Love built on lies will crumble, but love that comes from truth will always endure. Now, tell me, my loves, what would you have done if you were in my place? Would you forgive, or would you walk away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading what your hearts have to say. And don't forget, my dears, if you felt something deep while listening to this story, give it a like, share it with someone who believes in the power of truth, and subscribe to Silent Revenge for more secrets from Granny's Secret Diary. Until next time, my loves, keep your hearts kind, but your eyes open.